Okay, so it's almost the end of the season. I still have, because this field is mixed variety, there's always some kind of mangoes in here. Right now we're just finishing up the kit season, which wasn't very good. But not, the mango in general wasn't very good this year. Too much rain, and I didn't really do anything to protect against anthracnose. But anyways, this field is now finishing up its 5th year, and it's too dense, and I let some of the trees get too big, you know, for one reason or another. For example, this one, it just hasn't flowered that much, so I haven't been pruning it terribly much, just in case it would flower again, and it just never flowered. So then it gets too big and it gets lanky like this. You see how it's so lanky? Well, I find out with Keat that for the kids, if you let them get too lanky and it does fruit, then all of those branches will bend to the ground, and I'll show you down this row, because this did happen here. And if you notice, some of the trees, especially if they haven't flowered that much, or like that one, that tallest one in the back, that is a Hayden, and Haydens are so vigorous, they just grow so much more than the other trees. And so they got too big, and then when they do flower with those lanky leaves, like I haven't mango in a couple of days, when they do flower, then the branches literally bend down to the ground like this, even though it was 5, 6, 7, 8 feet up in the air, maybe even 10 feet up in the air, it bent down to the ground. Yeah, this row through here, you can see how dense it is, and I can get my lawnmower through here fairly well, as long as no more too much mangoes on the trees. But like this here, it grew, this tree flowered on the top, and the weight of the mango bent the branch all the way down to the ground, which is now taking up the whole row. So I couldn't come in here with my lawnmower for a few months because of the mangoes. So because of that and how dense, these are the kit trees. They're the next vigorous when it comes to Haydens. But you see, completely, canopy is completely touching in between the rows on the big trees. Some bird damage. Birds love mangoes, but it's usually if I let them get too ripe on the tree. So because of that, I am going to come through, and I'm going to prune out half the orchard. I'm going to aggressively prune every other row. And so this is 10 rows with 31 trees on each row on a little over ½ acre of land. And I just think it's too dense at this point. And maybe with the like, you can see how this tree, back to this lanky tree, if I had pruned it correctly the first time, then I would have pruned it here instead of letting it get up to here before it was actually pruned, which is you know, 3 or 4 flushes before I actually pruned it. But if I had pruned off every flush and kept the whole stature of the tree, like this part of the canopy, then I wouldn't have the problem of it fruiting and then bending all the way to the ground, right? And so I cannot have the trees that big. But I don't want to take the whole orchard out with aggressive pruning, because I expect you're going to skip a year. So I'll take out every other row this year, and then hopefully it skips 1 year and not 2 years. We'll see. If I think it's going to skip 2 years, then I won't prune the other 5 until after the 2nd year. Then I'll prune the other 5 and bring it back down and kind of start a rotation. And if I can get it to flower after just missing 1 season, which if you look at these trees right here, I cut these about 1 year ago down because I'm planning on changing the variety of these, but I just haven't got into it yet. But so you can get pretty substantial canopy back in 1 year with better management. And so, you know, I'm going to take out half the rows. I'm going to aggressively take them down, and I'll show you a picture after when I'm done. And I'm hoping that it'll work to bring down the overall orchard and create more sunlight and airflow and just easier access into the orchard by taking out half the field out of production every year. Ideally, if cannot, then maybe I'll move to every third year. Take 3 rows out every third year out of production, and then we'll see how that works. But all I know is I need to open up more space in the orchard, and I don't want to necessarily cut down every other row. So for now, I'm gonna just prune aggressively and take them out of production for a year, and hopefully that time the other 5 rows will have the airflow and the sunlight to produce excellent quality fruit. So here I go.